Hey everybody! Before we begin, let me tell you something true. I've lived a magical musical life. Stages, airports, heartbreaks, miracles, the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. All of it stitched into the rhythm of who I am now. An extremely shy, quiet, invisible little black girl from South Central LA walked a long road to becoming the woman you're hearing today. And when I say walked, I mean that in every sense of the word. For years, I had the same dream over and over. I was alone walking on an empty highway. No cars, no people, just me walking. I'd look up at the overpass sign and it would always say, Pomona. I understood the assignment. I was meant to walk from Pomona all the way to Los Angeles. No vehicles, no shortcuts, just step after step after step. I remember feeling the weight of it, the knowing that the journey would be long, lonely, scary, and possibly treacherous, but unavoidable. So I put my head down and I walked, literally and figuratively. And somewhere on that road, in life, not just the dream, I learned something precious. The stories that heal us, that inspire us, that transform us, they aren't always the ones sung the loudest. They're the ones carried softly, whispered from soul to soul. So this space we're creating together, it's not a show. It's a safe space where beautiful things can happen, where uncomfortable things can be named, where truth gets to breathe. It's me, a woman carved in deeper tones, carved by time, carved by truth. Speaking to you, and I want to ask you something. Have you ever walked a road like that? Have you ever known deep down that your life was asking something big of you? Even before you had the words for it. Do you recognize yourself here? Do you feel something stirring as you listen? Because this podcast isn't about my career. This podcast is about becoming. It's about what happens when we keep walking. Through storms, through triumphs, through doubts, through desire, through music, through age, through life itself. Some stories I share will be beautiful. Some stories will be devastating. All will be true. And I'd love for you to be a part of this. To listen, to reflect, to respond, to chime in when something lands in your bones. Because wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here. This is the music of a life well played. Let's begin. Story time, R and the Rain. When I say I walked a long road, there are many stories that I could tell, but I'll start with this one. And this is the story about the very first time I had the recurring dream that I was walking alone on the freeway. I call this story R and the Rain. So, and also, these stories will not be in any kind of chronological order, but this is probably the best way to start, just to get things going for this story. So, I was about 20 and he was about 21 or 22. I entered into a relationship with this tall, intellectual, witty, funny, kinda goofy, charming musician. Let's call him R. I was walking down the street in downtown LA with my bass slung over my shoulder, and we crossed paths. He saw me with the bass and he started just like tagging along with me, asking me questions, but I was kind of shy and not really feeling him, and he was funny and didn't seem dangerous. He was asking me questions and I told him, you know how long that I've been playing, and I told him that, and he told me he played bass as well. So, a long story short, he invited me to a jam session. And I had never been to a jam session, so I decided, okay. He brought me to the jam session, introduced me to all the cats, and signed me up to play. And everybody, I was the only female musician there. And they were all looking like, oh, who is this little girl with this big old bass? I'm sure they were thinking, oh, that's so cute. So I was really shy and I was really nervous. But I had this determination. Though I was shy, I had this determination because there was this passion of music that needed it to just push through. The passion needed to push through any kind of shyness or any kind of hesitation. So when it was my turn to play, I got up and I did my thing the way I do when I play the bass. And let's just say that there were some smirks wiped off of some faces after I finished playing. It was a good experience. It was a good experience. So after that, he began to really pursue me, and he was really very persistent. And I wasn't really interested in a relationship. I was only interested in, practicing, getting better, because I wanted to play. I wanted to be a musician. I wasn't thinking about getting married or having kids. Nowhere in my brain was I thinking about that. So I just wanted to, do music stuff. That's what I wanted to do. Music was always number one. When I practiced 4, 5, 6 hours a day, as much as I could. In between, working, everything, all other activities. It was about being a musician and building my musicianship. But Art was very persistent. He would show up with different basses. One day he would have the bass. Look at this is the same bass that Paul McCartney played. So he came with this clear acrylic bass. I'll never forget that bass. Really weird. But all of these different basses, he bring them over and let me play it and let me borrow it. And he believed in me. He really did. He did understand my passion. So eventually, we fell very deeply in love. And little by little, my brother and I had been roommates, but my brother got married and moved out. And R, little by little, moved in. And at first things were really, really good. They were working out really well. We had a lot in common. We had a good foundation. And, he was accomplished. He was educated. He was formally trained, had experience. There was a lot he could teach me, and he did. Yeah, he was already doing session work. He was already playing professionally. And, he did introduce me around quite a bit. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about musicianship, about music, from him. So yeah, our relationship was really good. He had taken me home to meet his family. They were very wonderful, beautiful, sweet family, and they really took to me and I took to them, and the same with my family. They all really loved him and he loved them too. So it seemed like, and my mom told me, you hold on to this one, he's going to take care of you. I remember her saying that. This one, he's going to take care of you. We settled into this specific groove that wasn't really conventional, but our relationship was sort of unconventional, me being a female bassist, which was just unusual at that time. And I was working a 9 to 5. But I also cooked and cleaned but held a steady job and paid the bills and tried to keep my practice schedule and, still continue to try to be, to learn and keep up my 4 or 5, it's impossible to do sometimes, 4 or 5, 6 hours to practice. But anyway, I tried to keep all that up, but he was at home and I was the one that was working. But he had some really good gigs, album projects, recording projects, because he was a really good seasoned bass player. But he would make some money too, but mostly I sort of carried us. And we thought we were building something solid. You know, it was a different relationship, but we thought it was good. So one Christmas, he bought an engagement ring and asked me to marry him. And I said yes. Oh, and a note. Just a note, keep in the back of your mind. This is my second engagement ring. That's something to remember. Second engagement ring. Okay. Then there were some things that began to happen that sort of gave me pause from time to time. But after that, things started to shift. There started to be trouble in paradise. Some of it was around the fact I wanted my own career too. I wanted to be supportive of him, but I wanted to go to auditions. I wanted to find bands. And I started doing that stuff. And I had started to get a reputation behind my name as a bassist, you know, and people began to have in me. I began to get calls about, you know, this concert or, you know, this original project or, you know, or this recording. I began to get noticed. And the more I got noticed, the more he became resentful. I don't know, maybe jealousy, definitely possessive. He knew he didn't have the right to tell me not to do anything. He knew he didn't have the right to do that, but that didn't stop him from doing it. So when I would, like for instance, if I had a concert and I had to dress up and be real cute for stage, he didn't like that, what I was wearing sometime, or he didn't like that I had to go and be on stage and be in rehearsals with men all the time. That was just music. That's just the way it was. And so there was moodiness. I would be walking on eggshells. And then sometimes there was money problems. And so just over time, things started to be really kind of tense and difficult. One night, I came home from work and I had to pick up my bass and go right back out and go to a rehearsal. So got to the rehearsal, found out there was some kind of emergency and the rehearsal got canceled. So I said, okay, well, I'll just go right back home, but just and get some sleep. To go working all day and then come in to do a rehearsal. I said, okay, I was tired anyway. So I went back home and he was at home. Before I opened the door, there was a strange smell. Before I even opened the door, I said, what is that smell? I opened the door. The whole house was dark. All the lights were out. And he was sitting on the couch, smoking crack. And I was shocked. I was because I didn't do no drugs. I didn't do no smoking, no drinking, no nothing. I was a teetotaler and I didn't mess around with nobody's drugs. I didn't think he did either. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I said, what are you doing? And you know, I was very naive. I was very naive and I was very forgiving and I never fussed and argued. He gave me some, oh, you know, I was just relaxing. And I said, what is that smell? I don't know what crack cocaine smelled like, but I think that's what it was. And there was this heavy smoke in the house. And I'm sure that's what it was. And so after that, boy, I really started feeling like, I don't know what's going on here. A few days later, he was driving me to work. And there was tension. There was definitely tension from what happened the other night. He was driving me to work There was the car, inside the car was silent. We weren't talking. I wasn't talking. I wasn't mad, or I wasn't, I was just quiet, and I was thinking. He wasn't saying anything. The radio wasn't on in the car, nothing. We were just driving. All of a sudden, I felt this smack. He just reached over and backhanded me right across my face. Just whap! Out of nowhere. I said, what are you, what did you, that's what I said. What the fuck? I didn't really curse. I probably didn't say, what the fuck are you, I didn't. I was just a little naive bass player. I didn't yell or scream or anything. I said, what was that for? And he didn't say anything. He would do these things and I'd never say anything if I asked questions, if I was, not scared enough to ask a question. I said, and he didn't say anything, and I said, that is it. That's it, I'm done. We got to my job. I went to work. He came pick me up that night, and I started making my plans in my head. There's another story that happened. This happened before the incident of the crack cocaine. With this particular incident, I'm not going to go into because it's kind of the subject matter is a little. Well, he did something. He was always doing these weird. He did something to me that made me go, who the F are you? And I asked him, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And he started to say, well, he started to try to explain as if there was something, if there was any kind of a reason why he would do such a thing. Maybe in a book I'll go into what actually happened, but he tried to he started trying to explain, and then he realized that he shouldn't. Maybe that's why he never said anything, because there was nothing that he could say. It was just freaking weird and not nice and cruel. So a few days later, so after the work situation where he slapped me, I began to put things together. And I began to make plan my escape. And so I sat him down. And I just told him, I sat him down and I told him it was time to go, that I was leaving. And so I started looking for a place, and I had sat down one night and written out a budget, and I wrote a column of the things that I would need, and then the cost by it, and so I had columns with numbers by it. So he walked in and he saw my list and he said, I don't see a column there for me. I didn't say anything. This time I didn't say anything. He actually thought that I should have a column where I'm paying him. I'm making my budget to where I can take care of myself in my own place, but I need to have a column for him. On what planet? On what planet? So, anyway. So I searched and I found this really cute, clean, safe, one-bedroom apartment that was close to my job. And when it was time for me to move, baby, I took my clothes, my music system, and my pots and my pans. And that was it. I left everything else behind and I got the hell out of Dodge. Sure did. With my pots and pans and my music system and my clothes. The first night of me in my apartment alone, I was feeling new and free and happy, even though sitting there in my empty apartment. That was the night, the very first time I had the dream of walking on the I-10 freeway. Alone, walking, no cars, no people, just me walking. Looking up at the overpass and the sign said Pomona. And I knew I had to walk from Pomona all the way to LA, Los Angeles. That was the long road. Me by myself, one step at a time. That was the beginning. But you know, that wasn't the beginning. That was not the beginning. And this was the beginning, but not really. This was just a good place to start, a doorway into the story of the long road. Sitting alone in that empty apartment that night, I realized something quietly powerful. I had put myself on that road, and it was going to be a long one. That Pomona sign in the dream, it wasn't subtle. Walking from Pomona to Los Angeles would take about 12 hours. Cold, lonely, treacherous, a little dangerous, and definitely scary. And that's what was ahead of me. So, alone in my own place, with my pots and my pans, feeling scared but determined, I was finally in position to begin. You know, there's so much more symbolism there. Do you feel that too? Have you ever had a dream that spoke to you like that? That showed you something that you didn't yet have words for? I'd love to know what you hear in it, what it stirs up for you. And finally, here's the bonus of the story. Even though I was alone, I was never really alone. I always had a saving grace. My beautiful, loving, supportive mom, sister, my brothers, family, friends, and God. As it turns out, my move happened right around Christmas, and my family, being who they are, decided that alone was not an option for me. So on Christmas Eve, completely last minute, they showed up at my new apartment, my empty apartment. They brought a tree. They brought lights, decorations, food, drinks, music, and we decorated my place. We danced, we sang, we laughed, and we loved, all the way until the early morning. I'll never forget that night. That Christmas Eve was one of the sweetest times of my life. And maybe that's part of the story too. Even when the road is long, love has a way of meeting you right where you are. Until next time, keep listening to the music of your own well-played life. Bye-bye.